About 2 years ago, I was in the deep country with a friend. For the sake of his safety or his identity being hidden or whatever, I'll just call him Eduardo. Uh, so I'm not sure if you can actually tell from my voice, which I'm sure you can if you're not from southern North America, but I live in the South. You could probably hear a little southern slang in my accent. Anyway, we were deep in the sticks, just getting away from everybody, because, well, we don't have a stressful life really, but it's always good to just get away from people. So we were staying with his grandparents, and we enjoy adventuring. You know, everyone enjoys adventuring. Anything from scavenging through the woods to taking a road trip, going out of state to like North Carolina, uh, or just playing Naruto all day. I don't know, just anything adventurous, we'll do it. Well, the story's not about any of that. The story is about when him and I broke in and entered into an abandoned house. Okay, no one was living here, which I don't think that makes it any less illegal. Probably doesn't sound as bad because no one was, we didn't risk anyone getting hurt, but we broke and entered in a house. Now, this house, much smaller than his grandparents' house, uh, it was pretty much next to their house. It was only separated by a couple feet of woods, a couple yards of woods, whatever. So this house had been abandoned for about 30 years, and me and Eduardo got to thinking, what's behind those walls in that abandoned house? And to figure out what's behind the walls of an abandoned house, it's one thing to do. You gotta kick the door in. So after a good long 2 minutes of contemplating this, we decided that, alright, we're gonna go see what's in the house. So I grab a kunai, which is just a throwing knife, and I don't know why, in case something would get us. And then we marched over there in the middle of the day where anyone could see us and call the police from suspicious acts or whatever. Thankfully, there was a lack of means to keep us off the property. There wasn't a fence or anything like that. It was just the house. Now, as I said that we were gonna kick the door in, the front door was just completely boarded off. We wouldn't even waste our time with that. So we trolleyed on down to the back side of the house to go to the back door. There wasn't a back door. Not as in the case as if there would just be an empty door frame there where we could walk in. There was no place for a door to have ever been. It was just a wall with a window or two on it. So we had to take the next best alternative. We get in through a window. So for those of you who don't know, this is what a kunai looks like. You've probably seen it in some sort of ninja movie or something like that. But so I took that and I started chipping away at the window, which was so loud. Like every time I chipped at it, it sounded like an elephant going whatever elephants do. And for that, we were gentle. Now, the house was only 20 feet away from the road, so we had a little strategy going on. Every time a vehicle would pass by, we would go ham on this window, chipping away at it. Every time a car passed by, you would think that I had a grudge against this window because I was just the devil against it. So the vehicles were loud enough to the point to where it completely drowned out me taking my rage out on this sheet of glass. So I chipped it and I poked at it for a good 15 minutes until pretty much the whole bottom window was just confettied all over the ground, and there wasn't any spikes on the edges of the window, and we could just trolley on in, basically. I think it's the second time I've used the word trolley. Anyway, it felt pretty rewarding in like an illegal, hooliganic kind of way, but still rewarding. So we slither on through the window, and it smelled like air. They didn't smell like anything weird, just air. And there wasn't really anything out of the ordinary. It's just a regular home. It wasn't overly dusty, of course. And it had windows, so it wasn't too dark. We could see what we were looking at. So we scavenged around, what's this over here? What's that over there? And we managed to make our way to the bathroom. That's where I found a little cologne bottle of Old Spice. It's in a glass and it has a little boat on it. My dad's dad used to use it. He's dead now. and my mom's dad used to use it. Yeah, he's dead now. So I figured this cologne's probably 30 years old, but I don't think cologne can expire, so this would make a good gift for my father. So I gave it to him, and this was 2 years ago. He's still alive, so I'm guessing that it didn't have any negative effects on him. So we were looking around, and then we noticed a rather suspicious door. The door didn't have a doorknob on it, but it had a nail bent in front of it to keep it closed. Of course, being a curious cat, accompanied by Eduardo, the curious cat, we decided to unbend this nail because what could, like, a monster is going to be back there? Come on. So we decided to unbend the rusty nail to reveal whatever secrets had been wandering through our head 30 seconds prior. So I grabbed my kunai and I wedged it between the nail and the door, and I unbent the nail, and the door was really flimsy and it just kind of creeped open. Now, I hadn't realized how cheap the door actually was, otherwise I would have just busted through it like a giant Pop-Tart, but that wouldn't have been, as cinematic and dramatic. So I just slowly unbent it to add some cinematic effect because my life's just a movie. So as the door creeps open, we're wanting to know what ambiguous treasures lie beyond into this room. However, there were no treasures in here, and it wasn't ambiguous because it was obviously something bad. Now, the walls were the worst part of the room, but I'll get to that after I tell you about the furniture. There wasn't any furniture. There was just a filing cabinet about 5 feet tall in the center of the room. So, obviously I open it, and there's just a picture in there, a framed picture of a family from like the 1940s as some sort of sepia filter. And, as the basic dad here, little Susie, little Bobby, mom here, nothing spooky. Now, the walls, they were covered in dolls. Literal dolls, like dolls that little girls play with, little cloth dolls. All 4 walls. Now, they weren't like taped to the wall. I mean, like if someone had used a hammer and had nailed them straight into the walls, and there was a good bit of them, like 40 or 50, and they had foggy bags on their heads, like they were originally clear Ziploc, but I don't know what would have fogged it, and maybe the dolls are breathing, I don't know. So I would have been surprised if some sort of voodoo witchery didn't happen in that house, because this just had witchcraft written all over it. Obviously, we felt out of place because we weren't nailed to the walls with bags on our heads, so we escorted ourselves out. After bending that nail back, because I will be damned if I wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning to the sound of a little doll scratching like a screwdriver against my window. I'm shutting that down before it even happens. I'm not going to have my entire family get slaughtered by a clan of possessed dolls and end up on Fox 10 or WKRG or whatever news channel. Now, I noticed a snow globe when we were leaving, and I fancied the snow globe, but, didn't want to waste my time grabbing it because we were getting out of there. But, so we left the snow globe, or it was a cube. So it'd be a snow cube. It doesn't matter. Anyway, a week passes and I'm home, and Eduardo figured out that I fancied this snow cube, so he decides to go back alone to get it. So he does. He returns to the house of all things unholy, and he also slithers back into the house to retrieve the cube. Then when he grabs it, all the lights turn on. Now, I don't know if the power company was testing the electricity in that house conveniently at the same time he was in there, or if the voodoo spirits of the bag dolls nailed to the walls worshipped this cube. But whatever the case, power people, voodoo lord, he wasn't having it. So Eduardo took off like a kitty, and he scurried back home, abandoning the cube. And that was pretty much, we didn't go back to that house. 2 years later now, the house has been painted, it's red. I guess they fixed the window that we just exploded out of the wall. I don't know if anyone lives there. I hope no one lives there. Now, the main thing I want to know is that the refurnishing crew, what they thought when they took that door down and there was just a room full of endless possibility. Now that's pretty much the whole story. It's just a creepy house. Whether you believe me or not, it doesn't matter. It sounds like BS. I say that, and I'm the one who experienced it, but I'm not telling you this for you to believe me. This is just for entertainment purposes, which, I mean, it did happen, but it's still entertainment, and you don't have to believe it. And if you've had some sort of weird paranormal kind of situation going on, let me know, because I like reading stuff like that. I like stories. I think we've already went over this. Yeah. Okay, now about my last video, the one talking about the idea of a fictional story time made by you guys. I pretty much got nothing but good feedback, not really any negativity. A lot of people like the idea of an audience that makes the story, and then I, Storytime Craftsman, put it all together. So, I'm gonna wait about a week or two after I upload this, and then I'll upload another video telling you guys that I'm starting it. So then that's when it'll happen. That sentence was all over the place, but that's okay. If anyone wants to already give ideas down in the comments or whatever, that's fine, because I'll take them and I'll do something with them. If not, you just wait until I make the official video. Now, I didn't mention this in the other video, but whoever makes the idea for a story that gets a lot of feedback, I'll give them credit, so it doesn't just seem like I'm, I want to give the person credit, of course. And I'll try to keep the stories, I don't want to have like a 2-minute story, like, hey, the dog walked, the dog slept. It'll be lengthy, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes, I guess it'll vary, with a lot of juicy content. So spread this around, spread this channel around, tell your friends to subscribe, you subscribe, so we can get a big enough audience to be able to start that. And hopefully it'll go smoothly, but we'll see. So I'll get back to you guys in a week or two. So bye.